Hi everybody, and welcome back to Knowledgeable Nurse. I have missed you guys so much. I'm sorry I have been MIA. I have just been in the transitional period. I am now a clinical nurse, and if you want to find out more about that position and what's going on with me in that position, make sure you go to my Instagram, Knowledgeable Nurse, to find out more information. So today is going to be story time with Nurse Na, because it's been a while since I did a story time with you guys. But before we do that,
Did you like, comment, or subscribe yet? You haven't done that yet? Okay. I'm going to give you some time to do that. You let me know when you're ready, okay? You did it? Okay. Great. I'm glad.
so let's get into story time with Nurse Na. Today, my story is going to be about the weirdest nursing experience I had. As a nurse, you're going to have many weird experiences, but I think this one truly takes the cake. So let me set the setting for you. This is my first nursing position. So let's say I was 3 years into my nursing career at this time. So I had a patient, let's call him Mr. Grumpy. I had Mr. Grumpy. I always had Mr. Grumpy because, again, you'll learn in nursing that continuity of care is very important. And when I say continuity of care, I mean like you will have the same patient often just so you can get to know your patient, so you will know when something is off about that patient. So normally, Mr. Grumpy is grumpy. That's him. He's grumpy. But on this one day, I go in to see Mr. Grumpy, and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm like, I'm okay. How are you? He's like, "Yeah, I'm doing well. So we're having our normal chit chat. How was your night? Because I work day shift. How was your night? How was everything? We're going through the flow. And then boyfriend says to me, "Are you fighting with somebody?" And I was like, "No, I'm not fighting with anybody." He's like, "Yes, you are." And I was like, "No, I'm not." He was like, "Well, the enemy left you and came towards me." And I was like, "Hold up. Wait a moment. Hold on. Hold on. What?" And he was like, "The enemy just was fighting with you, let you go, and came towards me." This is when I knew we were not talking about earthly things. This is when I knew this was a spiritual situation going on. So I was like, "Repeat that one more time for me, please, Mr. Grumpy. I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying." He said, "The enemy was fighting with you, let you go, then came towards me." And I was like, "Okay, thank you for sharing your story with me. Thank you for that." I held on to that because I knew I would have to refer to it later on in the day. So I held on to that. So we're going through our day. He's still so very pleasant, which is not like him. And we're just going through our day. I gave him his pills, gave him something to eat. His family came to see him. Again, this is pre-COVID time, so everything was like it used to be back in the day. So he's eating. Everything is fine. Everything is going well. The shift is fine. His family comes to see him. They stop by and make sure they tell me they're leaving and that he's fine and resting. So now it's now afternoon. So let's say 12 noon. So this is around my lunchtime. So I go in to see him and I'm like, "Hey, Mr. Grumpy, you all right?" He was like, "Just leave me alone." And I was like, "Dang, I knew you wasn't going to stay nice for long. You grumpy all the time. So yeah, I should have known that was going to wear off." But I was like, "So how can I help you?" And then he was like, "You need to move the cup." So we always leave our bedside table in front of the patient and normally give them a cup of water or something like that to in case they get thirsty. So he was like, "I need you to move my cup to the right." I moved it to the right. He was like, No, move it to the left." I moved it to the left. "No, you know what? Just don't worry about it. Get out of my room." So he kicked me out. And I was like, "You know what? You do you, friend. I'm gonna come check up on you." So I was going to go to lunch and I told my coworkers, I was like, "Hey, listen, Mr. Grumpy is acting very, very weird. So please just keep an eye out on him. I'm going on break." And he was also on telemetry, which is the heart monitor. So I was like, "Just keep an eye out for him because he's acting weird and I can't tell you what's going on, but he's acting very weird." They were like, "Okay, girl, I got you." Go ahead, enjoy your break. I come back from break and I went to my coworker that was covering me and I was like, hey girl, how was Mr. Grumpy? She's like, you know what, he didn't even call. And I was like, that's interesting. Let me go check on him. Let me tell you, I was on my way to walk to his room. But before I could walk to his room, I had to walk past the tele monitor, which has everybody's heart rates and stuff on there. So I'm walking and I look at his and I just see asystole. I ran into his room. This man was blue. My friend coded on me. So we are now doing CPR. Running around doing CPR. Brought him back. He was able to come back, praise God. Sent him to the ICU. So I am sitting here like stressed. Like what happened? I was watching him. I didn't give him anything different. What's happening? Why did this happen? So then the doctor comes up to me. He was like, Nadej, what happened? I was like, PT, I don't know. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know. So we're trying to go through. He was like, we didn't order anything new. You didn't give anything new. I even looked over because I was like, did I make a mistake? Because you know, when crazy things happen, you always want to question yourself. And I was like, did I do something? Looked over my documentation. Everything was fine. So the doctor was like, I don't know. He was like, and you've been in here. He was like, because every time I stopped by, you were in the room. So I don't know what happened. So I'm just, of course, nurses, being nurses, we're always very hard on ourselves. So I'm like, Dad, what did I miss? How come I didn't pay attention? What is happening? Then his beautiful family, I am never going to forget his family for this, because they came and they were like, Nadej, we want to just thank you so much. The doctors told us how you were feeling and how you felt stressed, and we want you to know that we know you did the best you could do for Mr. Grumpy, and we just want you to know, don't worry about it. Everything is good. Don't worry about it. That was the kindest thing a family, one of the kindest. Let me not say the kindest, because I have some very, very, very kind family members that I've taken care of and that have come to, you know, be there for their families. I've had some beautiful people. Honestly, I encountered some beautiful people in my life through being a nurse. So that was very kind, especially because I was newer to the game. So it was very kind of them to say. It really meant a lot. It really did. So unfortunately, Mr. Grumpy ended up passing 2 days after that. But I just wanted to share that crazy story with you, just so you know, like, nursing is not textbook. Nursing will never be textbook. If you run into a patient that is exactly textbook, that's 1 in a million. It doesn't happen often. But you always have to remember first to do your best and make sure you're paying attention to what you're doing and making sure you're documenting everything. But also, you can't doubt yourself, because if you know you did the best thing you could do for your patient, that's all that matters. Your documentation will show that, especially if you're documenting. And just you being confident in your nursing skills is what's going to help you go through your different experiences in life, especially as a nurse. So, can you guys share with me your crazy nursing experiences? Put them in the comment Put them in the comment box below. I look forward to hearing everybody's story. And again, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me and being patient with me. And I will see you guys soon. Be amazing. Have a great night.